Chapter 3. The Fly as Air Electricity Balancer. March 15, 1842. What we have learned so far about the fly is certainly wonderful, yes, more than wonderful. But one of the greater miracles is contained in its purpose and the way in which it corresponds to its purpose. How manifold is this purpose? Can it be simple? And if it is, how simple would that be? Can it be manifold? In the entire creation, there is nothing that has more than two polarities, namely a positive and a negative polarity. Therefore, there is only a below and an above, an outer and an inner, a material and a spiritual, a good and an evil, a true and a false. Thus, if we talk about the reason for an entity's being, it can only be within the confines of these two polarities. And so let us see for what purposes the fly is useful. Let us consider the outer pole. You must be aware of how very few of these animals there are in the winter-time. Whereas in the summer all is buzzing and teeming with these little air inhabitants. See, my dear children, we will presently introduce another miracle from our little animal. We have already seen, with the discovery of the first miracle, in which I explained to you its ability to walk, why the fly is so full of little hairs and bristles. But this is not the only reason for the fly being so hairy and bristly. You will soon learn why each of these little animals has been provided with a pair of wings. Understand that this animal, through the sucking in of the electrical stuff in the manner already explained, becomes so weightless against the Earth's gravity that it can be carried about in the air by its little wings in all directions. Why is it carried about thus? Or why, the warmer it is, must it fly here and there faster? Pay close attention, and we shall soon see. See, these millions and millions of flies have the purpose of consuming the excessive so-called electrical fire generated by the sun, thus lessening its effect so that it does not unleash itself through overloading and delivering a finishing blow to the entire world. Understand, this electrical fluid is an extremely mighty fire. This, of course, means in its positive sphere. As long as the planet's negative electricity is in balance with the positive, which develops from the sun's rays, no unleashing of the positive electricity is possible. But if the positive electricity exceeds the negative even by 1,000th part, the unleashing of the positive is almost unavoidable. How then is such devastation prevented? Now, watch our little animals, how they flit here and there so industriously and, in their rapid flight, suck up the excess positive electricity, wherein the polarity is soon reversed. The fly uses up the positive, which resembles oxygen, and then breathes out the negative, as man does with nitrogen from the inhaled air after the lungs have retained the oxygen for the nourishment of the blood. However, you might ask me, are these little animals really capable of all this? And I say to you, oh yes, my dear ones. A single fly reverses so much positive electricity in one summer's day that, if it was collected in a container, there would be enough energy to turn a mountain 10 times larger than your Schlossberg into dust in a second. So with the quantity of air a person inhales and exhales. If kindled, it could destroy all of Europe, totally changing its appearance, so that nobody would recognize it as it was before, or as it is now, a well-populated and fruitful land. So that this does not sound too fantastic to you, I will draw your attention to the insignificant cause, that is, in the natural sense, of the large earthquake that was felt over almost an entire hemisphere and beyond. See, this was caused by thousands of cubic feet of trapped air, which was kindled through outside pressure. Now, let us assume that a person with 4 breaths consumes, or rather reverses and exchanges, 1 cubic foot of air. Think how often a person inhales throughout the day, and you will be amazed at the amount of air just one man consumes, or rather exchanges, in the course of a day, or to be more correct, in a 24-hour period. If you consider this in the light of the above, it should not sound too fantastic when I present to you the possibility of the destruction of Europe through the quantity of one person's daily breath. Therefore, what I said before about the amount of electricity a fly converts in one day should not sound too fantastic. And if one fly can accomplish so much, think how much more millions and millions can accomplish. Now, my dear little children, isn't it a miracle when I protect the world from sudden destruction with such an insignificant little worker? But all of this is just a small secondary purpose of this little animal, and therefore not the greatest of miracles. But be patient, the main point is coming soon, and so let us leave it again for today.